Alright, well we're back for part 2 of our Pyro build, Dark Souls 3 sophomore run, if you will. We're going to try to get through some of Lothric Castle and also finish up basically exploring the Firelink Shrine, and that's, I believe, where we'll start with today. So this is me jumping down after getting the silver covetous ring, which gives you the more souls. Now we're going to go ahead and get some of the NPC stuff out of the way. This guy will actually become you'll actually fight him at the very, very end if you can get one of the twinkling dragon stones. That's how you get the other one. But until then, you can talk to him. He'll give you some gestures and a lot of dialogue. He acts like he's useless, but he's actually one of the harder NPC fights in here. This is the handmaiden. She sells you stuff. Also, throughout your adventure, you'll find these ash, and you can give that to her, and she'll increase her stock. But you can get quite a few little things. She's got a few little spells. I always pick up the torch while I'm here, usually one of the first things I do, because there's a couple enemies later in the game that you kind of have to have a torch to burn off the leeches before you get a stats effect. A lot of times, sometimes I'll pick up some embers if I have the money. I tried to spend most of my souls on leveling up, especially in the beginning of the game. Leveling up and then also upgrading my weapons. But of course, this will be the first time I've really used a magic build in the game, so I'm not sure exactly what my priorities are going to be just yet. Talk to this guy a few times. He'll give you the another gesture. He'll also sort of tell you all the things he can do. He can reinforce, which uses like the Titanite items. He can also repair, but you can repair at any bonfire. You can basically infuse, which will usually give your weapon different scalings. Like heavy will scale off of strength. I think sharp scales off of dexterity. You can also do a raw gem, which does no scaling, but it will increase its power. This is also where you give the SS shard to, which I just did. I gave it to him, and then you can allot it, and you can choose how many health versus how many magic or FP. So this will be a guy that you go to quite often. Definitely reinforce your weapons when you get the chance. That's the reason why I fight a lot of the optional, more harder enemies in the game, because they almost always drop upgrade stones. So to get to Lothric, you just go to here. I'm going to go ahead and this is the storage box. A lot of times I'll just throw stuff I know I'm not going to use. If certain shields are bad, after a while you'll start keeping some shields around for the extra elemental protections, but anything that doesn't have 100 physical, I almost always drop in there. Also, I'll drop my armors for at least for a while, especially the ones I know I'm not going to use. But you notice I kept the cleric item because I may end up at some point getting some miracles, just because it doesn't really weigh much. And with Pyro, you have to use both intelligence and faith for your requirements for your pyromancy spells, so you'll already be scaled well with sorceries and with miracles. But with sorceries, you kind of have to have like a staff, and that's a little bit more, to me it's a little more rougher to switch to and from. But this is the Firekeeper. This is where you'll level up. I'm really going to make sure I focus on vigor and endurance through a good chunk of the beginning of this. Try to get them to at least 15. And then after that, I'm probably going to start doing some strength. Right now my weapons are also, at least my spells will scale for my intelligence and faith. But there's a few things I want to try to get that I'm going to need some extra strength for weapon-wise. And since really right now I'm okay with my fireball spell, I'm probably not going to up my intelligence and faith too much in the beginning. But you can kind of see whenever you put a point into it, you can see how the stats will go. So if you got a strength, dex, scaling weapon, a lot of times I'll check which one I want to level first. Because sometimes the strength will up your attack a couple bit, and sometimes the the dexterity will do more than one stat increase. So just see which one's better for you at the moment. That's what I usually do if you're gonna do the double scaling like that. Attunement. Eventually, why I did that is because I want to get to 14 at least fairly soon in the game, so that at 14 I believe is the threshold to be able to attune 2 spells. Also, not too far into the game, you'll also get a ring that will allow for an extra attunement. So once I get to 2, I'm probably going to stick with that and try to get my strength up, so that when I get to the chance to get the Demon Great Axe, I'll have the requirements to do it. And if I remember right, it's like 27 strength. It's quite a bit of strength. This is one of the Lords of Sinners, the one you don't have to fight. He actually is full of lore, I've noticed. A lot of times, if you're holding certain items, he'll actually give you extra lore. But the other thing that he's talking about, that he'll talk about is, you'll get an item from one of the second bosses, I believe the giant tree creature. I believe the item's called Transposing Kiln or something like that. You give it to him, and he's able to take the boss souls, and for every boss soul there's 2 items that he can turn them into. And for the most part I turn them into weapons. I didn't use a lot of spells and stuff last time, so this playthrough what I'll probably do is well, for the most part I'll just get what I need, because this is not a New Game Plus. But I'll probably be getting a lot more of the spells and stuff more than the weapons, especially since because of my build suggestions, I'm pretty much going to be tied to that. Another note that this one I'm going to do my very, very best to do single player boss. I'm not going to use any NPC summons or any co-op. The only one I may end up using is the Yorm the Giant, because Onion Bro, Sigward, or whatever, he joins in automatically if you're keeping up with his quest line, which I probably will. Plus that fight's a joke anyways, that you get a weapon in the fight that basically takes the thing out anyway. So it's not like I'm taking a super challenging boss and making him super weak. So travel to Lothric High Castle, get this first bonfire. We're going to go one way first in order to pick up the bow, which I don't even think I can use at this point, but like I said, I'm picking up everything as far as I can, because eventually later on you can respec. So once I get through this run through, and if I want to, I can always, respec myself in something else. I suggest going along this crack right here, pick off this crossbow guy real quick. I try to be fairly patient, at least the first time I go through, so I'm going to try to show you guys, to me, the best way to take out a certain area first. And then if I die and I go through again, then I'll probably either run through them or just more quickly just take them out. But this dog will actually run to you, and if you time it right, which I didn't, if you time it right, you can actually do a plunging attack on it, just kill the dog outright. Also, your fireball spells will kill these dogs outright. I like to go down here because every time I've not, this axe guy has followed me and makes it much difficult. So again, plunge, and then take him out, and then be very careful because there's another guy down here, which is the reason why I don't suggest just dropping down twice, because both of these guys together can and will kill you. So there's a soul here. This will be a shortcut that we'll get later on, and it'll basically be sort of your last shortcut before the boss. I like to stay fully healed as much as I can, especially since I know that I'm going to be going this way, and then straight back to the bonfire. Like I said, fireballs, one shot. And I'm not a big fan of fighting the dogs anyways, especially at this point. My shield is still not 100% physical. So, I mean, eventually when I get one, it'll be really easy just to put the shield on, and just the dogs will bounce right off of you. Also, I do tend to kill all these worshipping people just for the easy souls. This guy can be a little difficult, but he does overswing on everything, so it's pretty easy to get around him if you need to. Again, my shield isn't 100%, so I'm going to try not to just block everything. I'll try to dodge through or back up and use my fireballs. I hate accidentally doing the kick. If there's one complaint I probably have with the game, is the fact that up and R1 is your kick, but R1's also your normal attack, so sometimes you'll be moving up to hit a guy and you'll actually kick him instead. The kick is good for the shields, but real quick, kill the crossbow, and this guy right here is going to turn into one of the abyss creatures. Fire works really well, so I'm going to try to fireball them. But they're very quick and they do a lot of damage. Okay, one more hit. Fireball. Ugh, come on. Alright, I'm just going to try to roll in and hit him real quick. Really? Alright. Well, I guess this is a good way to show you that these guys can kill you very easily. Now, if you want to, you can, instead of running up to kill that crossbow guy, run up and kill this guy before he changes, and you won't have to fight him. But what's really nice is if you do decide to fight him and beat him, they usually drop embers and upgrade items. And like I said, I'm going to try to show you how to get everything as while I'm doing this as well. Figured, like I said, I can do kind of a 2 for me having fun with a new build, kind of doing a playthrough, and then also kind of do a bit of a walkthrough. Yeah, so it takes 2-3 hits to kill the dogs at this point, just regularly. Like I said, I'm trying not to waste too much magic getting up to the area because I want to make sure I don't. I just don't want to run out of magic like one fireball away from killing the abyss guy. Now there'll actually be another abyss guy later on in this in the High Castle area, so get used to doing it. If you're not paying a Pyro class, fire bombs work really well. So if you didn't use them all on the champion fight at the beginning, it's actually a really good item. I mean, really, honestly, the item probably is, I think, actually does more damage than my little fireballs at this point in the game. Okay, so I'm going to run here, and since I need to get away anyways, I'm going to run over here, close to where my souls are. I'm not too worried about losing my souls, because I didn't have that many yet. See, this guy needs a lot. Here we go again. There we go. I was able to dodge around him this time instead of dodging into his attacks. Yeah, so there's an ember and a titanite shard, so. This is the bow. You get a longbow and some arrows. I believe my dexterity isn't high enough for it. Also, what I did there is I usually a lot of times put my ember in that slot. I'm going to try to stay, like I said, I think I said before, I'm going to try to stay embered as much as I can. Because in order to get a lot of the NPC invaders, you have to be embered. And I missed a lot of that the first time around because I was just basically so afraid to lose all my embers with normal guys that I just wouldn't do it. I basically would ember right before a boss room to sometimes get a summon, just in case. And I will admit, the first time through, I did use a summon here and there with some of the bosses. But I mean, I was able to beat the Nameless King, which is considered one of the hardest bosses in the game. I beat him solo. I didn't ask anybody for help. So, okay, so I killed this guy. There's another guy that's right down these stairs. Get him, because he basically, if he pulls off that lantern scream thing he does, it basically will summon every bad guy in that room and on top of this little rampart to basically attack you. And just like in every Dark Souls style game, the thing that'll kill you the most is probably not going to be a boss. It's probably not even going to be like the big giant abyss creatures necessarily. It's more than likely you're going to be killed by getting mobbed by a lot of people at once. I mean, I think most of the time I died to like a small rat or one of these small guys. Now there's a guy up here, if you didn't notice the sword. He will attack you and he'll fall off that little area, which really doesn't do much damage, but still. Also this guy, this is one of the reasons why I will hit anybody sitting down, even if they look like they're dead. That's the binoculars. It can be kind of useful. If you know where you're going, it's not really all that useful. Yeah, I'm offline. I didn't know that you could have messages offline. But yeah, these guys, I said, they're just free souls. Might as well. You don't really have to worry about degradation. Oh, it's almost dead. See, the thing is, you can't take these small mob creatures for granted, because they will kill you. Now the other good thing about the Pyro build is, unlike a lot of other games, hold on, where armor really hurts your like magic casting time and magic casting. As far as I've seen, the only thing that heavy armor really affects is your rolls. If you're below 70%, you do just a kind of a regular roll. If you're below like I think 40%, you'll do like a fast, longer, farther roll. And if you're above that, you do the fat roll. Okay, down here there'll be some pine. This will add lightning to your weapons. Definitely get to know your weapons. You know, certain weapons you can't infuse, certain weapons you can't buff with these things. So if you're going into a boss fight thinking, yeah, I've got this good weapon, and I'll just infuse it with this magic, and you put all this resin in your item slot, and all of a sudden you go to do it, and, well, it doesn't work. And now you've got like 8 items in between the one item that's useful and the Estus. One tip though, yeah, you can't get through here. One tip though I have is you can actually hold down on the D-pad, and it'll basically reset your item to the Estus flask. So say you got a lot of resins, you got a lot of pellets that increase your defense buffs, and you don't want to keep tapping down to get back to your flask. You can just hold down. Okay, so I'm not getting too close to these guys. There's a crossbow guy there. I'm trying not to get hit. Yeah, this guy heals. You will find some enemies that will heal. But I don't want to get too close because there's a dragon that is up there that will breathe fire, and I'm wanting to get into the room under him, because that's where the D-Bax is. So I'm just going to run as fast as I can through these guys. Open this. When you're opening things, you are immune, as you can see there. Although if you're picking up things, you're not immune, so be careful with that. This is okay. We can funnel them through. Can't believe I missed that. I can't wait to get my D-Bags. It's such a better weapon. Now, okay, I think we're going to probably have to end this little short. I have no flasks, and I don't feel... That's a mimic right there. I really don't feel like fighting him without any health. I am not that confident. But I should be able to go through here. There's a bonfire through this gate, through that door, and then straight to your right. The biggest issue is that, yes, there's a knight. So I'm going to try to see if I can... wait for him. He'll actually patrol downstairs towards where the dragon fire is. And we'll just wait for him to go down. Alright, let's run. There's a guy in here. He shouldn't follow us. And even if he does, we can funnel him to the door. I think I hear him following us. Okay. Well, we'll just... The knight? Why did he follow me all the way up here? Oh, come on. I just need this bonfire, and I can't really rest at it until I've defeated him. Come on. Ugh. I got greedy. His shield was down, and I thought I could just get him at once. I do have some magic. Yeah, I have some magic. Oh no, one hit's gonna do it. Fireball, fireball. One more. Ooh, that was close. Alright. Well, I'm going to go ahead and rest here. I'm going to call this the video here. It's between bonfires. The next time we'll go back and get done D-Bax on the Mimic, and we'll get the rest of the items on that ledge where the dragon was spitting fire, which will include a claymore and a club, and I believe another ember. So we'll do that, and then hopefully by the next time we'll at least get to the shortcut right before the boss, and we may defeat the boss. Kratos out.